The 6 Pillars of Self-Esteem. This is a great book and resource for you. And I want to share with you the 6 pillars and how I found them useful in my life and how you can apply them into your life as well. Welcome back to the Self-Esteem and Confidence Mindset podcast. I was going through my notes, and I like to bring up my notes and things I've learned and think, oh, that's how I implemented it, or that's how it's relevant in my life right now, and share it with you as a listener and something that you may want to take forward. And the 6 Pillars of Self-Esteem was something that was recommended again in the program I'm in at the moment when we're talking about like relationships, money, all areas of life. And we're going into the subconscious, we're going deep into us, looking at our beliefs and our views of the world. And actually this book was recommended because if we have struggles with things, it's usually a lack of self-esteem. And it's always something I'm going to be working on for the rest of my life because it's never going to be 100% perfect. But these 6 pillars are something that really helped me go from a place of hating myself so much that I'd hurt myself, physically harm myself in my younger years, which was quite emotional, and just not talk well to myself, hate myself. Like I base how much I like me on my results and the external world, which is always at risk, right? Because you have no control over that. But using these 6 pillars of self-esteem really helped me, taking it back to me to love me. So here are the 6 pillars. I'm going to go through them and how I've utilized them. And I'd recommend getting the book, The 6 Pillars of Self-Esteem, if you can as well. So number 1, living consciously. I found when I used to live all the time, not all the time, because I'd obviously practically live in the world and did okay in school and stuff, but when I'd live dominantly in my head and dream and daydream and run away from the world, as opposed to knowing where I am now and moving forward and being very clear on where I was, it was a lot different, because when you're consciously connected to the world, it allows you to connect with you more, and therefore that establishes your relationship. So make sure you're paying attention, you're not in your head too much. Do things like meditation, mindfulness, just sitting in silence with yourself every single day, because the more you can be conscious and be aware of what's actually happening and not running on autopilot, getting into bad habits, the more you can progress in life, I've personally found. Number 2 is self-acceptance. It's set where you are, but you do not have to settle with it. Accept who you are right now, but you do not have to settle with it. So if you're not happy with a situation, it does not mean you have to accept it and be like, okay, I'm giving up. That's not what self-acceptance means. Self-acceptance means you've created what you have to date, but you also have the power. But because you've done that, you've also got the power to create what you want going forward. A challenge was that I would run from things like my bank account. When I put some weight on, I'd like not look at myself, wouldn't be honest with like girls who I was dating and things like that in the past, things about myself. I would not accept myself, and that really damaged my relationship with me. So when you can accept where you are, now it does not mean you have to shout out all your secrets on the roof, right? And all the things, but you have to admit them to yourself. You have to be honest with where you are, because that will really aid the relationship with yourself. Imagine if you had a kid and you were just shutting them out and ignoring them. Well, you're doing the same to yourself, right? Imagine you're owning a child, the young version of yourself. When you're not accepting who you are and where you are, that is pushing it away. But it's not about giving up. It's about like, I want to move forward, but this is where I am. And that is self-acceptance to me. And then moving forward with that, you can always change. But when you lie to yourself about who you are, where you are, that damages self-esteem. Number 3, self-responsibility. Oof, this is a big one, and will probably annoy a lot of people who haven't got self-esteem and don't even realize it. Stay away from the victim mentality. And people love to be in the victim mentality because we're conditioned to be in it. So for example, and it's very hard in some cases, I totally get it. I've been there. But yeah, let's use examples of, like, we'll use a relationship and business example, right? From the guy perspective, oh, women are so difficult. Oh, all this kind of thing. Oh, there's no good ones to date. They're so like closed. Oh, they use me, all this kind of thing. right? That is a victim mentality. And by the way, I've been in that one when I've had some like harsh breakups or not working out, right? Totally get into that, right? So I'm not saying I'm an angel. This is just what I've learned. Women, I hear a lot of women, and we've seen this, and it's really awesome in our community where women are really empowering themselves and working themselves, healing, and the guys are as well. Women who, and this is obviously I'm using heterosexual examples here, but it applies to any situation, any gender, any relationship or sexuality example here, right? But like women who are attracted to men will be say things like this: all men are assholes, men are difficult. Why do I keep attracting assholes? Because they're all assholes out there. There's no good men. Right. This is going to really trigger some people. But if you're getting triggered, maybe sit with it a little bit, because this is where self-responsibility comes in. We attract what's going on inside of us. So therefore, if we take responsibility for what's going inside of us, that's when the power comes back. Like the women like I've attracted over the years, the girls I've attracted over the years has changed dramatically. Like from abandonment and like anxiousness to like, you know, sort of up and down over the years, but to like a place where it's awesome now, right? But like I've also seen my girl mates, like a couple of my girl mates attract like their dream relationship when they used to have like a toxic one, because they did the work, right? It's very easy to sit there and blame someone else. But but how empowering is that? It's not very good, right? It's not a very good feeling. So self-responsibility can really increase your self-esteem, because you're like, right, I have a choice. And it doesn't mean it's easy. That's why getting a coach, a mentor, a community is really, really key to support you in the journey. Like one of my favorite teachers and guys I've learned from is Danny Morel. And he says this, which is so powerful. Everything on the outside is a direct reflection of what's going on in the inside. People don't like to hear that, because they're like, well, that means I've got to take responsibility and I've got to change and I can't blame other people. And that means I've got to put in the work. So when you start taking self-responsibility, and it doesn't mean like that, you know, harsh things are going to happen in life out of nowhere. It doesn't mean it's like your fault or anything like that. Of course not, right? There's some really tough things. But even if you look at some of the worst cases in human history of what have happened, people like Viktor Frankl in the Holocaust, he took responsibility, man's search for meaning. This is just an amazing man's example. He said, this is some of the worst suffering someone could see, but I'm going to make it meaning. I'm going to put a meaning to this. I'm going to take responsibility for how I feel and how I perceive this. And yeah, like nowadays we get upset because the person didn't text us back after the second date, and therefore all women or all guys are assholes, right? Instead of us thinking, maybe I could do something about this. Maybe I could change my approach, right? Or in business, right? The economy's tough, all clients, all leads are difficult, right? Instead of thinking, well, maybe there's something off in my marketing, maybe there's something off in my selling, right? Don't you notice people who are successful in business are always successful no matter what the economy is? And I'm not saying I'm a business genius, by the way, but just look at the patterns, right? It's easy to blame, but take your responsibility. I was long on this one because I think this is key. Could make a whole podcast episode on this one alone, right? Number 4. And again, you could choose to believe what I say. You don't have to, right? But it's just when you're like, well, the harsh things in my life aren't my fault and I can't do anything about it. You know, how good and empowering does that really make you feel about yourself? Just ask yourself that question. The next one, self-assertiveness. This is not about being an asshole. I used to think it was. It's just like shouting at everyone, being arrogant or ignorant. No, it's about knowing who you are, what are your boundaries, and stating them. It does not mean you walk into an office or into a new bit or into a business, or you go and pitch and say, these are my boundaries, but you just know it for yourself. And then you're able to say, right, okay, this is how I feel and I believe, and it's about expressing yourself in the right way. That's something I've developed over time. Yeah, it's scarier sometimes than others, right? But being assertive It's really helpful. It's actually the hardest time. It's really hard to be is like with people close to you, right? Because you love them and you know you don't want to lose them, and then that the brain starts kicking and go, oh my god, what they reject me or leave me or whatever, whether they're family or a romantic partner or whatever, right? But being able to do that is key. So practice just understanding who you are, what are your boundaries, and just little by little using them. Number 4. Are we on number 4? No, number 5. Purposeful. Doing something that's meaningful for you. What's meaningful for you? What feels good to you? And this is why it's important to have clarity. So if you live purposefully and you move forward and you do stuff that really line up with who you are, that's going to make you feel a lot better than if you're just living things on autopilot. And then number 6 is personal integrity. Do what you're saying you're going to do, right? We talked about responsibility and owning things, but that's great. But then if you say you're going to do something, make sure you do it. Now, the problem I'm guilty of this, is setting myself too many things and then not completing them all and then being like, oh, I'm crap. Instead of all the things I do. Now, it's not about doing everything on your plate, but just set yourself 1 to 3 little commitments you're going to set each day. It has to be massive, but you tick them off and you celebrate. You say, yes, I did them. Yes, I'm awesome. Because the more you celebrate yourself, the more you're going to feel good. But if you continuously don't do what you say you're going to do, that's important to you because you put it off for other people. You're going to damage your self-esteem. So that is the final pillar, the personal integrity. So today we talked about the 6 pillars of self-esteem. I would not overload yourself with this, just maybe practice 1 to see how you can put it into practice and then move forward with it. But yeah, being conscious, self-acceptance, responsibility, big one, I talked about that a lot, assertiveness, living purposeful, and personal integrity are really, really key for building a good relationship with yourself. So thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you as always. And thank you. I already said that. But remember to lead with your heart and not with fear.